Well, hello there, guys. Very happy to see you. David Nuno here, TexAgs Rewind. I'm in my business casual gear because we are shooting up to the second college football. If you watch this show, maybe you've watched that show because you're probably on YouTube or something, but you should check it out. We'll be posting it later on this week. But today on TexAgs Radio, which is what we feature here on TexAgs Rewind, we had the trio of mischief in studio. We also had the Tres Amigos, or as I like to say, Tres Amigos. We had Andrew Monaco, the voice of the Aggies, Will Johnson, and Dave Elmendorf. Good time, good powwow there for about 30 minutes here in studio. Love that part of it. How about Darryl Bruffett, KBTX? Got my start in this industry, kind of working with Chip Howard first, and then Darryl Bruffett on Friday nights. He was in here. We have a partnership with KBTX. I'll be on their pregame show on Saturday. If you're in the area, go check that out. It'll be fun on KBTX. Matt Hayes of Saturday Down South on A&M being loaded with talent, but he could see 9-3. But with that kind of talent, who knows how that'll play out. And Charean Williams. We actually had to call her back because breaking news happened during our segment. Kellen Mond was cut from the Vikings. She reacted to it. That and much more here on TexAgs Rewind. Okay, we're going to go back to the hotline with Charean Williams. I know we just let her go a moment ago, but breaking news here in the last few minutes, Tom Pelissaro is reporting that the Vikings are waiving Kellen Mond. Charean, we talked about this last week. I don't want to say it's a surprise, but a little bit of a surprise, I guess.
Yeah, they traded for Nick Mullins, so you could kind of read the handwriting on the wall. I did think they would keep him because he's the third-round pick, but this is what happens when the former general manager drafted you and they change general managers. They don't feel the need to keep you. If he was a third-round pick of this GM, then I think he would still be on the team because they would say, we used a third-round pick on him. We're not going to give up on him this soon because we look like idiots for picking him in the third round, but that's not the case because the former GM selected him. What'll be interesting to see is if he clears waivers. I would expect he would, and then I would expect someone to sign him to the practice squad, whether that's the Vikings or someone else. I do expect him to be on a practice squad somewhere. So a little bit of a surprise simply because he was a third-round pick. You normally see third-round picks lasting at least 2 years, usually maybe 3 years. I mean, it's sort of a surprise when they don't last 3 years with the team. But some things came into play here with the team moving on from GM and coach. And I never really thought he got a good chance with Mike Zimmer, and I thought he would get a better chance this year, but he just didn't show in the preseason that he had made enough advancement, I guess, to the Vikings' liking. And so he is gone, and we'll see what happens now. He has 24 hours. It'll be, if he clears waivers, somebody could pick him off waivers in the next 24 hours, 4 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. If they don't, then he'll have an opportunity to go wherever he wants, which probably will be on a practice squad. I don't expect it to be on a 53-player roster.
Sure, and I got an idea for you, and I haven't done enough research here, but why not the Texans? They were set to draft him before he was taken by the Vikings. Davis Mills is their guy. I know they like him, but to me, I mean, as Jimbo says, what competition, what does he say, ends complacency? Something to that effect. Why not the Texans? Because I know they were interested.
Yeah, it's a great idea, a great plan, and they did like him. A lot of teams liked him, and they were set to draft him until the Vikings got him. And it's a great thought, and that certainly could be a possibility for them on their practice squad. It would seem a perfect match. So, yeah, I that's a great thought just off the top of my head. I hadn't even considered that, but I would expect probably it to be the Vikings or the Texans. Now that you say that where he'll end up. Yeah, great thought. And being on a practice squad, it would be great for the Texans. It'll be great for Kellen. Now, I realize you don't get paid as much money. It's not great in that aspect of it. But just to learn and be on a new team, and I think that would be a good place for him to go to get a new opportunity to start over. And being back home in the state of Texas would be ideal, too.
Charean, we appreciate it. Sorry to call you right back, but that news broke. You let me know, so I wanted to get you back on.
Yeah.
Matt, you have the Ags going 9-3, and I think that's a fair number considering some of the questions out there. What is there a game on the schedule that says maybe, all right, they win this, they can go 10-2, or maybe a game on their schedule says maybe 9-3, not so fast?
You know what? I think everybody's looking at the Alabama game, and there's so much hype around that Alabama game, which is, I mean, I understand it, I get it, but it's so much more than that Alabama game. They have a brutal schedule. That week 3 against Miami is going to be a grinder for them. And I just think you look at their schedule, and all over the place, there are games where you go, wait a second, they could win that game, but that's not going to be easy. I mean, even going to Starkville on October 1, that's not going to be easy. We've seen the way that Will Rogers throws the ball, so we know how they play. I think at South Carolina is going to be a tough game for them. I think South Carolina is going to be a very good team this year. They may not win 9-10 games. They may only win 6 or 7, but they're going to scare the hell out of people, and they're going to stress some people as well with that completely revamped offense they have. So I look at their schedule, honestly, guys, and I'm like, wait a second. There's a lot of issues there. But I also then look at, okay, look how well Jimbo's recruited the last 3-4 years. And they got dudes, man. And as you guys know, dudes win games in the SEC. I think if they can get the quarterback situation figured out, I think if Haynes King and or Max Johnson, plays with efficiency, I think they got a chance to at least win time, honestly. I mean, they have that much talent where I think they can beat anybody in their schedule.
So RC, Fran, Sherman, Sumlin, Jimbo. Tell me about Jimbo. What separates Jimbo from those guys?
I'm kind of a country boy.
Yeah.
You may not know. I mean, I have chickens in my backyard.
I've heard, yeah.
And Jimbo's a country boy. RC's a country guy. So, I mean, I relate to those guys a little bit more. It's not that I didn't relate with Mike Sherman or Kevin Sumlin, but I like how Jimbo, his hard work, his honesty, his integrity. Not saying that the other coaches didn't have that. That describes RC to a T.
Right.
But I like the fact that, back in May, man, somebody said something about his program, and he didn't just send out a statement. Dude got on TV, man, and basically called out Nick Saban. I applaud that.
Yeah.
He backs the program, and he backs his guys, and I can appreciate that. And, I know he didn't send out a depth chart. To me, that's not that big a deal. But I think if you ask him a question, I think he's pretty honest in his response, and I can get down with that.
All right, let's talk some football. Sam Houston State. This is an opponent I think that A&M should beat, but this is a really good opponent, guys, right? Am I right?
They know how to win.
Yeah.
21-1 the last 2 years. I mean, you can say it's an FCS team, but it's a team that goes out and beats FCS teams. There's probably a group of 5 teams that wouldn't handle Sam Houston State. So, yeah, you can say it's an FCS team, but you also got to say it's a 21-1 FCS team the last couple of years.
Dave?
I think it's a quality opponent to start with for this year. I don't think the Aggies are going to have a lot of trouble with Sam Houston State, but it'll be a great first game. It'll be a challenge for some of our younger players, and I think the Aggies are going to win the game. I have asked Andrew yesterday at the press conference. I said, "All right, has the line come out yet?" I want to see what the line is going to be on this game, and I didn't even look this morning. I don't know if anybody has looked.
No. I haven't seen it. No.
Do you know if there's a line out?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm just curious, but I think yes, a high quality opponent for an opener at Kyle Field. So. It'll be good for the Aggies to get started, and I just can't wait.
Well, for me, too, it's like enough with the talk. We had such a long off season. We've been thinking about what it would have looked like with Haynes last season. We did not get that. We now get it, and now we can shut everybody up about what 2021 was like.
Yeah, and but I like it wasn't just, let's ignore what happened. And that's what I love about Jimbo Fisher and his staff. This is what we did. This is what we did well. This is what we didn't do. And for all of those student athletes over there, they know that they did not finish, and that's part of it. And they're not going to wait till November to finish. They're finishing every period over there during practice. That's what I like. Jimbo's never allowed this team to ignore anything that they can correct and make better. But I'm with you. There's an awful lot of excitement. I know it didn't finish the way we wanted, but the momentum of that recruiting class, and then to see that next step, like Dave says, Saturday's a big day for all those freshmen coming in. What's going to happen? What did Jimbo say? When the lights are on the scoreboard, and it matters. Some step up, some it takes a little adjustment, but from what we've seen in that practice, man, these freshmen are pretty special.
So now that we know there's Haynes, what do we think?
Well, I feel good about the offense under his control. Practices that I've seen, I think there's improvement in the receiving core. I think he's going to have good targets to throw to. The offensive line, led by Layden Robinson, he'll be protected well. And then you've got one of the most explosive players in the country behind you. it's not just quarterback, it's tools around him, isn't it? And I think he's got those. I'm looking forward to seeing the guys he throws to, because I thought they've been pretty good in August camp. And I hadn't confirmed that with the coaching staff yet, but through my eyes, I thought they've practiced really well. So Haynes, we know, can run. If there's trouble, or if you want to run option, whatever, he can run. But I'm interested to see the guys he's going to throw to, because it's not just about Haynes. He'll tell you that. It's about the guys around me and how I get them involved as well.
Yeah, you mentioned Layden Robinson. I remember interviewing him about a year and a half ago before he was even a starter. And I was at ABC 13 at the time. He was a good interview, really good. What I saw yesterday is a freaking veteran. That guy is a leader, isn't he?
He's something else.
He said all the right things yesterday. I mean, he is so team-oriented, and that's what you look for, at least a former player like me, who knows the importance of being a team player and playing as a team. He's so team-oriented, and he talks about that unit as if they're one, that offensive line. I'm so excited about this season. I think the Aggies are going to be really good.
Yeah, but David, that's not
a broadcaster.
Yeah, he can. But that's not a surprise, because when he was not starting and he did get the time, and I remember, if I'm not mistaken, it was the South Carolina game. He needed to go in. He played so well that when he went to the sideline, that entire offensive line was celebrating that he had stepped up in that moment. He was ready. He was prepared. When that rubs off on you as a younger player, now it is your job to do that for your line mate. What did he say? He used the word trust. Not just trusting your teammates, trust yourself. He not only says all the right things, he does all the right things.
Well, and another thing, you get to see it up close, too. The fact that this team brings back more leaders in Anais and Damani, and you probably see how they interact with the players when things go well, when things go poorly. That, to me, what they do on the field is huge, but what they do off the field is even bigger.
Yeah, and down there on the sidelines, it's a talkative sidelines in the right way. You don't see player to player a lot of yelling, a lot of panic. It's more conversational, but they are quick to point out if somebody made a mistake, but they're quick to point out how to correct it. You know, it's not, hey, go sit down, take a few plays off, let's get somebody else in there. Player to player, they're really good about conversationally correcting mistakes, and that's what game day is. In practice, you can kind of pause, let's get this corrected, figure it out. In the game, you can't do that. The next play is coming like that. And if you're on offense, the next drive is coming like that. You don't have a lot of time to think and process it. So they're really good conversationally and cohesive. With cohesiveness is just saying, hey, here's what you did, correct it, let's go back out there and get it right.
Dave, why is this offense going to look different this year?
Well, first of all, we're going to have great leadership at quarterback again. The one place that we couldn't afford to have an injury last year was at quarterback, and we proved that with our 4 losses. I think having great leadership at quarterback, I think having even more talent than we've had in the past, and I don't know that we've got a weakness anywhere. And I was concerned a little bit about the D-line, but we went to the scrimmage last week, and our D-line was unbelievable.
He used the word salty.
Well, we're done. That's how we're going to end the show. I don't have to tell you what you're supposed to do. I mean, you are supposed to like it and comment and subscribe and share. I mean, I know that's what you're supposed to do, but why would I tell you to do that? You watch enough YouTube videos. You know you're supposed to do that, and you're probably doing it as we speak. So thank you so much for doing what I told you to do, but I tried not to tell you.